Hi, I'm Steve Volk, Executive Director of the Shelby American Collection here in Boulder, Colorado. And we're going to talk about this Cobra Daytona Coupe. This is CSX 2299. It's one of 6 Daytona Coupes that Carroll Shelby built for the 1964 and 1965 season. This is actually the second coupe of the 6 built, and it's the one with the most significant race history. It won Le Mans, Daytona, and Sebring. And let me tell you some interesting facts about it. First of all, Shelby American knew that they needed a more aerodynamic car for the longer tracks in Europe, Le Mans, and in the US too, Daytona and Sebring, Nürburgring, and so on. So they needed a more aerodynamic design, and they turned to Pete Brock, who was a young automotive designer that was working for Shelby American, and he came up with this design. This car, the Daytona Coupes, from inception to completion was a short 90 days. So the guys, the Shelby American team, which were American hot rodders, really knew how to turn it out. This was driven by Dan Gurney and Bob Bondurant, Jack Sears, Sir John Whitmore, all the great drivers. It has 4 first place FIA wins from the 64 and 65 season. So you'll notice that the coupe was very radical in its day, with its cut-off back, and it's very sharply cut off. They added more and more spoiler to get more stability, and it performed quite well in the long tracks in Europe. Underneath this beautiful skin, and it's all aluminum body, is the 289 that they used in the Cobra Roadsters. So it produces about 385 horsepower. It's got Weber carburation on it, and the coupes perform very well. Now they are quite hot to drive. We raced this one in vintage racing quite a bit. They're have limited visibility. They're a little warm inside, and it's hard to imagine how the guys, in particular Bob Bondurant and Dan Gurney, ran a 24-hour race. Must have been quite grueling. And let's talk about Le Mans for a second. Shelby entered 2 Daytona Coupes at the 64 Le Mans. The first one was retired because on one of its pit stops they couldn't get it restarted. Its battery had died, and per the rules, you can't jumper it, you can't push start it, you can't change the battery, so it was out. This guy, CSX 2299 in the 64 Le Mans, was running in the GT class, but it actually, for a good portion of the race, was running in first place. It was beating the Ferrari prototypes. That's how good the Daytona Coupe is. Now, unfortunately, it took a rock through the oil cooler towards the end of the race, and the guys had to bypass the oil cooler, and which meant that the engine was running hotter. It was running over 300 degrees in the 64 Le Mans, so they had to back off. So they finished first in GT, but did not win the race overall. But they won their class. But they really showed the potential of the Pete Brock design, how aerodynamic it was. So it's one of our favorite cars in the collection, and we're very fortunate to have it. It is another vehicle that is on loan from the Miller Family Automotive Foundation.